It's the Metal Bass Monday State of the Union. New shows revealed, new basses shown, and some of your fellow watchers and my students prove that my relentless talk about everyday progress, making huge leaps in your playing, is actually effective. No doubt about it. Metal Bass Monday. So there's a lot to cover, and like I said, going to be announcing a couple of new things and showing it off here to get things started. And I'm also going to congratulate some people who did the boot camp course with me, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes here. And they are going to prove how much progress you can really make if you take the advice I give on the channel a lot about everyday incremental practice. So first up, 2 new shows. They're going to be fairly regular, but not on a consistent schedule. It depends a lot on things that come in, but there will definitely be 2 more ongoing series that will be getting contributions pretty regularly. The first one is, and thank you to all your input, the Trash or Treasure series. That seemed to do pretty well, and taking it out of Metal Bass Monday and turning it into its own series seems like a good idea and one that's working out. So I'm going to be showing off a couple of things that are going to come in, old pieces of gear or things I think are overlooked, and we're going to examine them, and I'm going to do a full review on those shows. So next one coming up, and that'll be up next week, is the PVTL series. Got a TL5 with the original Super Ferrite pickups, and again, these are interesting. If you saw the last episode where I talked about the Rudy Sarzo signature, they were made within the same era and share a lot in common. One thing I like a lot about them is something that isn't done too much. These are solid maple bodies, whereas the Sarzo was ash on the body sides. These are flame maple, both sides, flame maple neck. This is really a great one all the way up. Stringers, and yeah, nice thick ebony board. It's going to be fun. We're going to go over this one on the next show, so that's going to be the real launch of the series. And yeah, I've got some stuff that's going to be coming in fairly regularly. So that series is going to be here and there as we go along. The other thing is, one, because I can't justify always keeping all this stuff as I dig it up to do shows for you guys, but I also don't want to go into bankruptcy. So I'm going to be letting a bunch of stuff go periodically too, things I get in for the show or examples that I want to demo. Some of that stuff's going to move out. And there's going to be some one-of-a-kind items coming up, some things that are going to be pretty rare. And if you would like some of that stuff, or if you've seen a bass or a piece of gear on the show, feel free to reach out to me, Rodney at rodneymcg.com, if you'd like to earmark any of the things. But yeah, I'll be letting go of some really cool items and things as they come in. So patrons are going to get first shot at it. I'm going to let them know and do, special offers for those guys. And thank you as always. And then it'll go to you guys here on the channel. And then finally up on my Reverb store. I'd say probably within the next 2 weeks, there's going to be in between 7 or 8 guitars and basses that are actually going to go up. A couple of pedals and processors. So a lot of stuff coming up. If you want to, if there's something you've been interested in or you're hoping to see goes up for sale that I'm going to move on, get in touch and maybe it'll wind up with you. Now, next up is going to be the series, The Chop Shop. I talk a lot about bass modifications, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I really heavily customize all my instruments, and there's just certain things that I like done, and I like experimenting a lot. I'm always out trying to find new ideas and new things, and so I'm going to have you guys sit in while I go through these processes, installing preamps, doing all kinds of modifications to necks, or doing pickup swap outs, or rewiring, or whatever it is. I'd say almost every week I'm doing something, so I'm just going to start filming it and showing you guys what I'm doing to give you ideas and also kind of take some of the fear out of experimenting with the guitar. I know a lot of guys are like, they just don't want to mess it up, or kind of, they're worried that they might do some damage to the guitar, and maybe by watching me or getting ideas on how to do it easily and without doing, too much trauma to their instrument, you can do some customizations. So one thing you're going to see a lot of pieces out of is going to be this PV Cirrus 6-string bass. I'm noticing a theme here. Anyway, managed to come across one of these completely stripped down to raw wood, and I thought this would be a real cool and fun project. And I'm going to be showing a number of mods since this is kind of a unique opportunity for me. I've always really kind of wanted one of the Cirrus 6-strings. I really like them for reasons I'll go into on both the Chop Shop and Trash and Treasure. But it lets me do mods that I normally wouldn't be able to do because, you know, with this having the finish off and everything, I'm less worried about damage, or I can do some interesting things. As you can see already, I've done the test fit for some EMGs. I've already got a bridge and tuning keys set up on it. It already plays really well, so I'm already happy about that. But some things I'm going to do to it are, one, I'm going to install a 0 fret, which, if you're not familiar, you'll see how that goes, and something I really like doing to instruments. And I'm also going to reshape the neck a little bit. This already has a nice neck, and I'd be happy with it the way it is, but because I have the opportunity to do it, I'm actually going to give it an asymmetrical profile, one that was used most famously by Mike Tobias in the original Tobias basses and now MTD. And I'm also going to change the side of this a little bit right up in here because it has a little bit more of a hump than I'd like to feel. So I'm going to walk you through how I approach that process of, you know, knowing where the truss rod is and where I can and can't sand to get the profile that I want. And then I'm going to walk you through doing stains. Some of you may know I worked for Paul Reed Smith for a number of years, and I was doing most of the stain work there. So I'm going to do a stain finish to this, and then finally, you know, a full finish, and turn this into something fairly unique. So you'll walk with me through the whole process, doing the electronics and that type of stuff, but other side projects as well. 0 frets and a couple other basses I'm doing, some electronic swap outs, putting a preamp in actually the Dean bass that I talked about. That one's going to be getting a copy of the original Spectre HasLab preamp. So this thing is going to be more Spectre than Spectre. So that'll be fun, and I'll walk you through my process of doing that. But that'll be a cool one. And down in the comments, hit me up for modifications that you've always wondered about, or things about working on a bass, fret work, whatever it is. So things I can see that you guys have an interest in seeing or getting more information on, and I can add it to one of the episodes of the Chop Shop. So I feel like that's going to be a fun one, and that's going to be a regular one too, because I've got about 12 projects so far that I want to work on, and I'll just bring you guys with me. So that'll be the second of the new series. And for patrons this week, if you haven't already checked your accounts, pop in on the page. I just posted the stems, which are the separated tracks for the original version of the song Hellbent. This is going to be the template and what we start redoing and going through the engineering and mixing parts of basically rewriting the song and doing it, but we're going to examine how these things sound separated from each other. And I'm going to do a live stream where we can talk about that, and I can give you more details and talk about why those choices were made and what considerations we might want to make in the new one. So check your accounts, get those files downloaded, should be cool. And yeah, that live stream will be happening here soon. I'll give you a few days notice so as many people can be on board as possible, and we can talk some mix and get this engineering course going. As always, if you want this additional content and you want some other series that I'm working on, my patron channels are listed below, Subscribestar and Patreon. I always appreciate the support. It's really cool, and I'm really enjoying getting to talk with you guys in closer format, and I always appreciate the fact that any of you guys help support the channel for the people who can't, and really help me expand the content like I'm trying to do. So thank you, as always, to all of you. And if you can't support, totally understand, or you just pop in once in a while, you can always drop a little bit more coffee in your boy's cup. I even take crypto down below, so if you got a few of those Bitcoin or something and you just want to move them on, drop it in the cup, and that's always appreciated too. So with that out of the way, let's talk about actual bass practice. So as I stated earlier, I did a boot camp challenge for a number of people, and I'm going to be showing them off and giving them a minute in the sun here, but also using them to prove the point that I'm usually making on here, which is consistent hammering away at something can lead to humongous results in a short period of time if you don't get frustrated, if you follow a methodology, and you have to have a methodology. You have to get small about things, make small accomplishments to go along, and big things can happen. So I'm really proud of these guys, and I wanted to show a piece of what they do, show where they started and where they came from. So the first one we have up is Mr. Steven Becker. Steven's goal was he always wanted to play Angel of Death at full speed, of course, from Slayer. I knew he could get to this goal, and that wasn't going to be good enough. So, as always, I wanted to challenge him a little bit further, but I didn't always warn him what was coming up. So we set just getting that song done as the 30-day goal. But what we wound up actually working on were a number of things that just by working on the song, he came away with a higher level of technique than what he would have if he just, learned the song and walked away. We got his finger style on both hands greatly improved and much more accurate. We worked on dynamics and how to make something dynamic regardless of tempo and be able to find the pocket and still have expressiveness. Worked on improvisation and doing fills and adding embellishments to things. We worked on raking, and we worked on just having a relaxed positioning so that you can endure for a long time at high speeds. At a certain point, Steven got all the way up to 120% speed. We really pushed him on this. So Angel of Death's a quick one anyway, but he was doing it 20% faster than the recorded by the end, plus adding fills, plus doing a new raking style, plucking, and really proud of him. He did a great job. So let's see the start, and let's see where he ended up. Congrats, Steven. Did killer work. And again, example to all you guys, what you can accomplish in just 1 month. Our second person for this one is Mr. Becker. His challenge was much like Steven's in that he wanted to do Got the Time from Anthrax and all the way up to speed. He wasn't experienced in fingerstyle bass playing as much as far as the right hand, and he really wanted to improve on that. I really liked his initiative, and he was very aggressive, just like Steven was, about pushing themselves forward. So again, not only did he get the song, and we had him pushed much faster too, I believe up around 120, just like Steven was. So we really pushed the tempo forward, but we also included embellishments. We got him to do 3-finger style instead of just 2, getting his rotation down, learning string skipping. We had him be able to use a lighter touch, but keep the aggressive tone and make it just as dynamic. We also worked on his improv skills, being able to throw in fills and take him out of his comfort zone of using pentatonic and blues-based scales and trying diatonic and a lot of other interesting ideas, jumping strings, using octaves, and things like that. He did a great job on it, and let's check it out. So, congratulations. He did a fantastic job. And again, you look at the progress these guys made in a short amount of time. And, you know, I checked in with them every day. I made sure that they put up a video and I could see that they practiced and made sure that they put in that work 6 days a week. I gave them 1 day off, but they went at it. And, you know, they struggled through plateaus and they did everything else. But I think that they really got an understanding, and this is the most important part, that you just keep plowing ahead, that those little resistance points always give way eventually. And they really crushed it. So I know sometimes watching somebody like myself or something, you kind of go like, oh yeah, well, you've been playing a long time, or, you know, somebody who's dedicated their life to what they do. I can't make that kind of difference, or I can't rise to that level. And yes, you can. These two guys are, you know, great musicians, great players, but don't maybe have the same level of experience I do, or have been in bands as much, or done albums and things, but they were able to do the same thing. It's not a humongous secret. Consistency is key. Put in that time every day towards an attainable goal, and most of the time you'll not just meet it, but you'll blow through it. So we're going to be doing some more lesson material and things coming up next week. So you've seen it for yourselves. You've seen it going through other people and them proving my point for me. So put in the time, enjoy what you do. Just remember that every time you do this, it's one more chip off that rock that's going to get you to where you want to go. So that is the metal-based State of the Union. Everything coming up. And thank you so much for watching, as always. Looking forward to getting to see you guys more with the new series and everything. And that's going to do it for this show. I'll see you in the comments. Let me know what you thought about our friends that made some accomplishments. Give them a kudos down below. And let's keep the conversation going on down there. Let me know what you want to see on Chop Shop and some ideas for maybe Trash and Treasures too. I'll talk to you soon. See you on the next one.